Okay, so I woke up today and I was thinking, how much do a billion streams on Spotify pay? Or how much do a billion streams just in general pay? If you add up Spotify, YouTube, Apple Music, Tidal, how much do a billion streams pay? So then I start looking this stuff up. Now I know people in the music business. So one of the first people I reached out to is the head of a huge company that would know this. And he said it pays about $1 million. Okay, so if you have 4 writers, that's divided by 4. So each person gets $250,000. That's between the writer's share and the publisher's share. So that $1 million is split down the middle. So $500,000 goes to the 4 writers, split 4 ways, and then the other $500,000 goes to the publishers, which if they have a co-pub deal, then they may be splitting that 50-50. This gets really kind of convoluted, right? But let's just say that everybody owns their own publishing, and maybe they have a administration deal which pays 10%. So, well, just for sake of ease, everybody gets $250,000. Well, then if I start to look up things on there and you say, how much does a billion streams on Spotify pay? It'll say between $3,000 and $5,000 per million. Well, let's just average that out to $4,000 per million. Let's take a song like Greedy, the Tate McRae song, because that's one of the top songs on the charts. And I was looking at that today. That has 887 million plays. Times $4,000, that's $3.5 million. Or $875,000 per writer. So that's a lot more money than $1 million split 4 ways, right? So instead of getting $250,000 per person, you're getting $875,000 per person. I don't know. That seems like about the right amount of money. I'm not sure. And I've asked a bunch of people in the music business that are high up that I made phone calls to. They're friends of mine, and they all gave me different answers. They all couldn't actually say how much a billion streams pays. So I'm relying on stuff in the internet. And one of my friends said, well, don't believe anything you read on the internet. But some of these things are actually researched by people. Then one of my friends says, well, there's also this thing called the MCL, the Mechanical Licensing Collective. This is from the Music Modernization Act that happened in 2018. It pays songwriters, composers, lyricists, and music publishers. According to the things that I've been able to find, pays about $1,000 per million plays. And just as an example, YouTube pays about $5,000 per million plays of a music video. So that song Greedy has 92 million. So that equals $460,000 split 4 ways with the 4 writers. It's really amazing that you cannot figure out how much this stuff makes. Well, I had a song that was a #1 song back in 2013. I've talked about it on this channel before. It sold 1 million iTunes downloads. So 1 million downloads paid $1 million. We divided it between 5 people, so it was that would be $200,000 a piece, of which I saw none of that money. I don't know why. I didn't. That was the mechanical royalties. That was I didn't get any of that money, but I did get radio airplay money, and the radio airplay equaled about $1 million. So I made $200,000 on that. I think that those mechanical royalties, I'm not sure how that got paid out, to be honest with you. I could only account for $200,000, and that was over time. And everyone says that streaming you make less money on. So let's say that it's not $3.5 million for 1 billion streams, probably $1 million for the writer's share and $1 million for the publisher's share. So that's $2 million. Of that, you split it 4 ways if there are 4 writers on it. But here's the thing. How many songs have I talked about when I go down this top 10 Spotify playlist have 5 writers, 7 writers, 10 writers, 13 writers I've seen? These are incredibly small amounts. Now, not everything is split equally unless you're in Nashville. You have this saying, write a word, get a third. In Nashville, they always split everything. If you contributed 1 melody note, 1 lyric, hey, why don't you change it to this line to this? You got a third of the song if there were 3 people, or a fourth of the song if there were 4 people. I'm getting texts from people actually about this stuff as I'm doing this. It's very funny that people that I asked this question to are writing back, and they're actually disagreeing with each other. And these are people that work for publishers, for record labels, things like that. And they don't even know exactly what this is. When I get my royalty statements nowadays for things, now the song that I wrote back then brings in almost no money, probably $1,500 twice a year, maybe through BMI, something like that. If that much. So $3,000 a year. And when I look at my royalty statement, it has things like YouTube. It'll have, if it's radio airplay, it'll have streaming on Spotify. It'll have Apple Music. It'll have Tidal. Basically all the different services, Pandora, all the places where you get paid for music. One of my buddies told me this mechanical licensing collective has 400 million unclaimed dollars in it. Now, I did this interview with a guy, Nicholas Melinder, and then I did an interview with Bjorn Ulvaeus from ABBA. And we talked about this money because they have an app with Max Martin that's trying to collect from these places because they have this money, the labels have collected this money and they don't know where to pay it. I think they eventually just distribute it out amongst their biggest artists. Somebody knows how much a billion streams pays. And I'd like to be able to tell you guys, I think that it's probably way less money than what I'm even saying here, if I had to guess. Love to know your thoughts. Leave a comment, hit the subscribe button. Thanks so much for watching.